Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Film Artsy. I'm your guy, Troy Baker, and today we are going to be breaking down episode 6 of the What If Marvel series, as we've been doing every single week. But before we get started, I have a question for you. We're 6 episodes into What If, and what is your favorite so far? Is it the zombies from last week, or the week prior with Doctor Strange, or maybe you really liked Captain Carter? Let me know in the comments below, and let's get started.
And ponder the question. What if?
This week's episode is one that we knew was coming. I guess with all of these we had some kind of premonition or understand that they would be coming, although we didn't have necessarily the whole story behind it. But we saw a lot of clips in the trailers of Killmonger rescuing Tony Stark from that fateful bomb that would eventually put shrapnel in his heart, leading to Iron Man. This episode starts off exactly the same, exactly with that premise, exactly the way we thought it would be, and it kind of led down the path that I anticipated happening. The result of Tony Stark not getting injured by the bomb is that he never heads to the caves with the 10 rings. He never has the experience of having to escape and becoming Iron Man, and Iron Man actually never comes to fruition in this universe, which has some pretty big implications, I would assume, later down the road, but in this episode you don't really see those. The main difference here is that Tony Stark doesn't necessarily shy away from his new effort of creating war weapons. Actually, he ramps them up based off what he experienced out there in the Eastern world situation. As part of his effort to create better war weapons, he takes Killmonger as his new COO because Killmonger reveals that Obadiah was indeed behind the assassination attempt on Tony Stark's life. We discover pretty quickly though that Killmonger is still who he was in Black Panther. He's still trying to break free the oppression of his people in the way he believes is best, but he's going about it a little bit different way than he did in the universe that we have for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's manipulating Tony to create the weapons that he wants to create, but not to try to take over Wakanda, but actually to gain the Wakandan trust. There's something I really liked about this episode because it shows that Killmonger is an expert strategist. It shows that he's not just leaning on brute force, but he's using the force and manipulation of countries, government, all to work and orchestrate for him to become what his ultimate goal is, which is apparently becoming the Black Panther and eventually taking over Wakanda. We see a lot of characters come back. We have Potts, we have Rhodey, we have Claw. It feels like a Marvel movie we've seen before. We have the situation where they get vibranium from Claw, and that's where we find out that Killmonger is indeed evil, and he actually kills Rhodey, and then he betrays Claw and uses Claw to get into Wakanda. And then when they send the Liberators, which are these robots that he wrote about his thesis and him and Tony made together, to go and attack Wakanda, he uses the Liberators as a way to prove to the Wakandans that he is indeed trustworthy. In this whole situation, T'Challa's dad, the King of Wakanda, is not dead in this universe because that interaction during Civil War and the peace trees never occurs. All that being said, it's an interesting plot, but this is where it fell subject to what If's biggest issue is. At the very end, it's all discovered by Yuri that Killmonger is indeed behind everything, the killing of Tony Stark, the killing of Black Panther, the smoke and mirrors ways to gain trust, and eventually he does become Black Panther, or I guess Killmonger Black Panther, which we never see the fruition of what that is. And it's kind of my bemoanment about What If so far, is we don't have finality to anything. And I know that there's always this like, well, they could come back to it, but I'm like, okay, how many stories are we gonna have to come back to? We have Captain Carter who survived, and we have the zombie situation, and something's gonna happen there with zombie Thanos. The only episode that just felt bookend and that's put together is really the Doctor Strange one. Had a story from start to finish, and quite frankly, it's still probably my favorite one that's been done. This one ends with Yuri and Pepper Potts deciding to team up to take on Killmonger, which is great, but what is Pepper Potts gonna do? Even Yuri, what is she gonna do? She's gonna have to face all of Wakanda. And I just don't think we're ever gonna see that storyline. And the implications of that universe. Well, what does that have to do with the Infinity Stones now? Is Thanos ever gonna come about? Everything that Iron Man had an impact on, doesn't that change the way even the Mandarin? I mean, there's just so many questions I get that What If is exploring a possibility of what would happen if Killmonger was in this situation, which felt very random to begin with. It's almost like, well, let's have Killmonger, and I like Killmonger. I like Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of Killmonger. I enjoyed him in Black Panther, but this angle just is not fleshed out. It's all about him getting to the moment and mantle of Black Panther, and then you're like, but everyone knows he's bad. The best sequence, honestly, was between T'Challa in the afterlife talking to Killmonger as he becomes Black Panther, saying, was it worth it? And he tries to communicate to him, hey, power unearned always falls apart. It always is volatile because it's never going to stay, and people will discover the truth. And I guess that's what the episode's insinuating, but I'd like to see what the truth resulted in. Does Yuri become another kind of Black Panther? I don't know. I won't ever know. And I guess that's what you have to be with What If, but I don't know if I was so interested in about a story where Killmonger figures out how to actually complete his plan, but I didn't feel any of the implications of that plan. He's a master manipulator, but if all that footage came out that Yuri had, it's over, right? All that being said, let me know what you thought about the What If episode in the comments below. If I had to nail down what is my favorite episode, like I asked you guys earlier, it's definitely the Doctor Strange one, for the very reasons that I stated. Now that we're 6 episodes in the What If, I feel like What If is ideas that don't reach finality, and I know that's kind of the point, is to explore possibilities. When it comes to storytelling, that leaving or that absence of finality is hard for me to at least handle. Maybe you guys are okay with it. For me, I haven't particularly enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed our reviews every single week, please give it a like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments below. And as always, until next time, guys, I will see you later.